In 1963, author Warren R. Young wrote an article titled The Runaway Train that recounts the events of a rogue train that barreled through New York. This horrifying event is what served as inspiration for the 1985 Oscar-nominated movie Runaway Train, as well as the 1994 blockbuster Speed. Somewhat. I'll go more into detail in that video, so I encourage you to stick around for that upload. It should be up pretty shortly. So get your tickets ready as we board this locomotive of a ride. This true story begins with a train being taken in for refueling as well as its pre-journey inspections on the night of October 26, 1962. Sheet metal worker Jim Garris was in the second cab doing his inspections, and in the first cab, he had seen yard engineer Robert Cox at the controls. The train is moved about the yard routinely, so there was no alarm when it suddenly jolted forward. However, it soon became suspicious when it began picking up speed, and finally alarming when the engineer was found on the yard floor. With quick thinking, dispatcher Sam Gillia put the 4 linked cabins onto track 1, expecting the automatic brakes to kick in, but they didn't work. As it began picking up more and more speed, Garris looked around in panic for the best position to be in when the train inevitably crashes, but all he saw was solid steel bulkheads and protruding corners, handles, and knobs. By this time, the train was hitting 70 miles per hour and still climbing. Gilly cleared out the track, diverting other trains onto track 2 in order to avoid a collision, all the while discussions were being held on how to stop the impending disaster. Originally, they thought of derailing the train, but abandoned that idea once they realized Garris was on board. Additionally, they tried chasing it with a nearby train in the hopes of linking up to it and slowing it down, but that too failed. Time was running out. The train had already miraculously crossed an old bridge going at high speeds, and it was coming up on a curve in which it was sure to tip over. And to make things worse, there was a chemical factory and a couple homes just beyond it. It was now or never. Garris sprang into action after thinking of his wife and kids. He began pushing and pulling every lever and button that he could see to no avail. However, it wasn't until he hit the button in the back labeled Engine Run that Motor 2 died. 1 down, 3 to go. He climbed out of cab 2 forwards, disconnecting a cable linked to cab 1, and nothing. He climbed back to cab 3, followed by cab 4, hitting the engine run switches on each one, and still nothing. Engine 1 was still roaring at full stop. He made his way to the front, this time climbing into cabin 1 and killing its engine. Finally, the train began to slow and roll to a stop just 3.5 miles from the curve of certain doom. This thrilling story was published in the 1963 March issue of Life magazine. When legendary director Akira Kurosawa read it, he knew he had his next movie idea. At this time, Kurosawa was prepping to cross the Pacific and start making Hollywood production films. He co-wrote the script with Hideo Oguni and Ryozo Kikushima, and in 1966 announced that it was going to be his next film and his first in color. Unfortunately, it didn't come to fruition. The movie suffered financial issues, and after being delayed numerous times, it was ultimately shelved. The final blow was Kurosawa signing on to a little World War II movie titled Tora Tora Tora. A decade and a half later, in 1981, the Nippon Herald Company announced that the script was going to enter production. Kurosawa had planned to direct the picture until he became ill, writes the American Film Institution. Director Francis Ford Coppola stepped in and recommended Russian director Andrei Konchalovsky to take over as director. The script was rewritten with the prison setting being added, all the while preserving the core of the film. Kurosawa gave Konchalovsky his blessing and production moved forward. The movie had a limited release on December 6, 1985, with a wide release in January 17, 1986. In my previous video, I was shocked at the box office opening of a number 4 debut, but man, I was not prepared for this one. Runaway Train debuted number 8 in the box office. It came behind these films. In its entire theatrical runtime, it earned $7.6 million, with $2.6 of it being solely from its opening weekend, well below the $9 million budget it was given. The movie itself has a runtime of 110 minutes and falls under the action, adventure, drama, and thriller genres. Due to the lifestyle portrayed by our leads, strong language and violence was seen, leading to the film to be rated R. In terms of reception, it was positively received. IMDb, Metacritic, and Letterboxd have the score at 7.2 out of 10, 67, and a 3.6 out of 5 respectively. On Rotten Tomatoes, the critics have it at an 83% with an audience of a 76%. Siskel and Ebert were split on the movie. Roger Ebert thoroughly enjoyed the flick, however Gene Siskel was not a fan.
The very best thing about Runaway Train is the way the characters of those convicts, played by Jon Voight and Eric Roberts, are developed as that train races through Alaska. This is Jon Voight's best performance in a long time, and by the end of the film he had me absolutely fascinated about whether he would choose life or death. Runaway Train is a great film, and I just hope it doesn't get overlooked in the avalanche of so many of the other holiday pictures.
I find there are 4 main characters in this film. Rebecca De Mornay's character, I think they threw her in just to have a woman in there. I don't think she has any place in this film. So really, all that I like about it is Jon Voight. And I'll tell you, the train, they use so much of it, it really bored me.
Really?
I got bored seeing the train. They cut so much of the train.
We had a split decision for Runaway Train, although we both liked the great Jon Voight performance.
The movie did receive great praise at the 58th Academy Awards. Oh, well, some praise. No, not that great. Runaway Train lost in 3 categories it was nominated in. The 3 categories were for Best Lead Actor Jon Voight, Best Supporting Actor Eric Roberts, and a technical award for Best Film Editing. Speaking of Jon Voight was born on December 29, 1938 in Yonkers, New York. Voight plays the role of Manny, a popular inmate that escapes and boards the train. Prior to Runaway Train, he was in Looking to Get Out in 1982, followed by Table for Five in 1983. Afterwards, he was in Desert Bloom in 1986 and Eternity in 1990. Eric Roberts was born on April 18, 1956 in Biloxi, Mississippi. Roberts takes on the role of Buck, an inmate that joins Manny's escape last minute. Leading to Runaway Train, he was in The Pope of Greenwich Village in 1984 and The Coca-Cola Kid in 1985. The following year, he had 2 movies come out which were Slow Burn and Nobody's Fool. Rebecca De Mornay was born on August 29, 1959 in Santa Rosa, California. Rebecca plays the role of Sarah, a rail worker that got trapped in the locomotive along with our male leads. In 1984, she was in Testament. In 1985, she was in The Slugger's Wife, Runaway Train, and The Trip to Bountiful. The following year, she was in The Murders in the Rue Morgue. Director Andrei Konchalovsky was born on August 20, 1937 in Moscow, Russia. In the years leading up to Runaway Train, Andrei directed Siberiade in 1979, followed by Maria's Lovers in 1984. Afterwards, he went on to direct Duet for One in 1986 and Shy People in 1987. I should also add that in 1983, Andrei directed a short titled Split Cherry Tree that was nominated for Best Short in the Live Action category at the Academy Awards. If you've seen any of the movies I mentioned, comment them below. There's a few I've heard of and a majority that I haven't seen, but I still know that they have their own fanbase out there. Also, browse around my library of uploads, there just might be something for you.